Oh, god damn. I'm just gonna step off you for this. I don't think anyone needs to see me wipe me down. I don't think anyone needs to see me wipe myself down, yeah? You don't need to see none of that nonsense. Get all the sweat off of me. No one needs to see that. No one needs to see me struggle with the schwitz and the schwitz. Schwitzen, the schwitzen. Schwitzen und das schwitzen. Hey, Zukov. Come here, buddy. Let's get that door closed. Yeah? Come here. Come on. Oh, you sweet baby. Come here. Come on. Ah, boy. Talk of the Zesty Seas MC. What it do? What it do? What it do? Alright. Need to do a few things first. Just gonna do this. Here we go. Come on. Come on, bitch. Come on, bitch. There we go. And that's the way it's at. Somehow. I still can't believe you were trying to eat my hat, you goof. Dog attempted to eat my fucking hat. I think he wanted this one. Oh my god, he fucked with it. Oh my god, you prick. I'm so glad you didn't actually try to eat the thing. Though I could tell you tried. Asshole. There we go. Alright, let's get these little bad boys out. Yeah, boy. Yeah, hello. Look at this little dude. Look at this little koala bastard. Just chilling on there on a little beach like that, little fucker. That little bastard. I don't know if you tuned into a little bit of my afternoon stream, but I basically just kind of popped the fuck off on that video I sent to Telegram a little bit. Because frankly, I'm sick and done with these so-called progressives and shit. I mean, I'm not gonna like totally rehash it, but like these so-called progressives that are just like, oh, I ostensibly agree with these people. I just don't like the fact that they're weird and they embrace things like automation and stuff like that. Because she's also like an anti-automation freak, where she thinks like robots and shit like that are like bad and like, oh no, boo, you know, scary, big boogly scary thing. Not exactly a very bright mind, honestly. And frankly, it's pretty boring as fuck. But nonetheless, still has a pretty fucking minimal sussy, if not just kind of tacitly enabling, you know, Christo-fascistic ideologies, you know, when it comes to her fucking rhetoric. So, luckily, I mean, not a lot of people fucking, you know, look up to her outside of weird right-wing dipshits, so it's not like she has that big of an influence, but a lot of people and a lot of her fans follow her just because she looks pretty or cute. And so I guess there's like some prosecution shit for the Jan 6 thing. I was thinking about maybe looking into that a little bit later. Because that looked a little peculiar, if I do say so myself. Yeah, let's give one of these bad boys. Ooh, 6.9% alcohol. Ooh. 6.9 ABV, 69. Ooh, the smell is fucking fire. This smells fire as fuck, not even gonna lie. Holy fuck. This is amazing. I need to be careful with these. Oh, those are good. Those are... I like guava fruit, so... that guava flavor of that little hint of lemonade. Ooh. It kind of reminds me of like the passion over orange guava fruit. Like the Pog drink. Because of the guava. And the lemon kind of has a little bit of that similar citrusy zest like a orange would. So it kind of reminds me of that a little bit. I think that's why I like it. Oh, dude, I bet in a weird way, if I mix this in with a juice, like that pog drink, mixing those two together would probably be hellfire too. Maybe like mix those two together with like a shot of vodka or tequila or something like that. Ooh, have a spicy little cocktail there. Oh, that kind of sounds kind of bomb, honestly. Maybe like a little drizzle of like cherry flavoring. Nah, no. Probably like a lime. Yeah, like a little lime cut in there or something. Ooh, it's sounding like we're making a little cocktail here, and I kind of like it. Delicious. Let me get a bowl loaded. Corona with lime. Well, that's not really no. I mean, like this mixed with passion orange guava fruit juice with like a shot of tequila or vodka with like some lime zest in it, or like a lime cut in it, something like that. Because that sounds pretty fire. It's a little mixed drink. Like a hardcore cocktail a little bit, not gonna lie, but hey, it'd be a tasty one. Knock you it, pretty good. Sound pretty Irish when I said it. Knock you up. Or I guess Scottish. They'll knock you up pretty good, mate. Knock you up. Yeah, look and see if there's some random other things. I guess Kyle's talking about the Proud Boys being charged of sedition and shit, which is good. I mean, honestly, considering the fact there is, like, the rise of fascism, even with our current administration, there's at least still going to be some form of a retaliation and a crackdown on them, as much as it's not even remotely close to substantive or meaningful, crackdown. But it's just like, I mean, I guess on one level, it's good to know that at least the majority of society, even to some of the conservative-leaning ones, are like, nah, let's not go that far. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of a silver lining amidst the bullfuckery that is America. Is that despite how loud and vociferous and at least statewide or local-wide they might, be influential, it's like, realistically, they don't have that much of a strength and power unless you just don't do shit. Which Democrats are pretty good at doing. But, I mean, it's like, even then, I think there's, like, enough small little things that, are kind of cracking with them a little bit on that, I don't know, like, how much influence they really would have on that. When it comes to gaining more power within the Christo-fascist and American nationalist right. I mean, they love to fucking organize and agitate. They do a lot of agitprop, but, I mean, when it comes down to, like, how much true real power they have, like, outside of just the corporate power, but they're not the only ones that have that. In fact, they're usually the ones who are invested in by the said corporate powers. They're not really, like, unless they're good enough for it, they're not usually propped up with them on that level. They're more used as, means to an end. Which tends to be the case, especially within the ideology of fascism, too. A lot of people, and if anything, the individual is seen as more as a means to an end. It's like, oh, you are born, and your destiny is to basically be this, and a part of our society and shit. Kind of create, well, I guess in America it'd be called manifest destiny. But the idea that, like, destined, for one determined outcome in life, and you need to, like, act out and achieve it. And part of that, which also is heavily seen in movie Starship Troopers, is basically, dying and being a martyrdom for the fascistic military dictatorship. But can be extrapolated outside of military yunkta, like in Starship Troopers. Because while the fascism there is, like, beyond overtly explicit, I mean, it doesn't have to be in order for that to be shown, in today's circumstance. Like the whole support troops, bless our troops, type of shit, same thing. It's just a far more softer language. Where did Zukov go? Where'd you go, Zooks? You're in here, now you're not. I know the door's closed. Yeah, you're over there. No, you're good. You just walk out with this little warhide in your mouth. Oh my god. Yeah, you're good. I just want to make sure you're in here. I was actually doing some errands today, and decided to, test to see how he'd be, being on his own. Just kind of wandering around. Left the door open and just made sure that both sides were secured. And he actually did pretty well. You did sneak into some shit, and apparently you rummaged through my dad's trash can in his room. So you enacted some terror while I was gone, but you seem like you did pretty good. You tried to go after my hat. That was one thing you tried, but it looks like you gave up on it because it's not damaged, which is good. So, yeah. You haven't really become much of an asshole. I mean, you actually were today, because you didn't want to get on a walk, you didn't want to put on your harness, you didn't want to walk at all. So, now I'm going to have to, we're going to have to start, building some bond trusts here, and I think at least today, you're proving that you're not bad. Kind of. Don't be pawing at me, dude. Oh my god. You fuck. You goof. And I think at this point he has like a little too rainy for the soy boy doge. It wasn't even like when I was walking him earlier, it wasn't. It was just cloudy. Like it started raining like around the time I clocked up for work. I wasn't really gonna work today, but just because honestly, it's not because of the company or because of, maybe really my manager specifically. Because she was mentioning, it's like, hey, I got some plans for tonight. It's like, well, motherfucker, I kind of did too. It's just like, I mean, she's trying to call me in, but it's like, it's like, hey, try to be soon, like 5 or 6. It really doesn't matter. Just let me know when. It's like, okay. She's like, yeah, all right, thank you. I have some plans tonight. And it's like, well, I kind of did too, but now I'm fucking that off, to do this. But hey, like honestly, the fucking 6-day overtime shit on top of the Memorial Day pay, I made fucking like some bank with the check despite the wages not getting up. I mean, which pisses me off because I mean, I'm thinking like how much fucking money would I made if they were in place. But that just means that, they're going to have to, put more back pay on us anyway. So, they're fucking themselves more than anything. But, anyway. Maybe I'll just piss us off and get us all rabble-rousing and shit and see how many, leave, so they don't have to back pay them and shit. I mean, frankly, it's just like, honestly, I implore people to just like, hey, let's just walk out and basically only do like 1 day a week. It didn't fucking, just... tell them to say fuck it. Like, this basically we're going to walk out, and unless you want to have, like, 3 or 4 people running that entire store, you're just going to have to close it up. So, yeah, to figure it out. Like, oh, if it's not you directly, Mr. Store Manager, that's doing it, then you better start getting some phone calls to your higher-ups to tell them to hurry the fuck up and, actually start doing something because it's starting to impact not only their bottom line, but Mr. Store Manager's bottom line. So, and he cares a lot about things like bonuses and shit like that. He's always wanting to make sure that this store is good enough, so he can get his like 10 to 15, maybe even 20k fucking bonuses every goddamn quarterly. So, fuck him for one anyway. Paying pitch and grabbing a little fuck. But, nonetheless, it's like when it comes to this type of shit, you gotta hit them where it fucking hurts from, and it's their fucking wallet. And they have to fucking start reacting if they don't have enough people to keep the store open. And yeah, it might be like, oh, well, who cares about the one store? We'll just let it be okay and closed. But if that started to spread around, especially if the union was willing to endorse it, or at least be okay with it, enough to be like, yeah, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, it's okay. Then chances are they'll probably, especially, considering that there's other people that know coworkers or workers from other stores and shit, like, that word will start spreading pretty fucking quick. Hell, if anything, I mean, the store manager will literally probably be calling these stores and be like, do you have anyone on their days off that could come into our store? So they will know about it. they'll be like, yeah, like they're all walking out and they're all kind of like picketing out there and stuff, you know, from what I understand, you know, and they're trying to get people to come in and, you know, cover it's, you know, for these people doing that. And it's like, oh, you know, at that point, you know, it's like they have a choice to make. Are they going to scab or are they going to fucking, well, you know, either not do that or join with it? Because at the very least, not abiding by it and not sending people over, you know, would be good enough. But if they were to like, hey, as they're walking out, we still haven't seen our wages either over at this store, then fuck it. Then they're going to have 2 store managers that are going to start calling up the ass of the fucking corporate chain. Then it would probably be 4. And then 8. And so on and so forth. Well, hopefully it doesn't get that bad. I mean, it's not like I don't want to see these stores, like, utterly closed and burnt the fuck down yet. But, you know, it's like, I like to also see, I don't know, my wages, thank you. And also the back pay that goes along with that, too. Because at this rate, they're just being fucking criminals. Like, literal criminal robber barons. Because at this point, what they're doing is outright fucking illegal. New season noise intensifies. When the new store opens up by that little marketplace, I'm going to check it out. And if they're not, like, unionized when they first open, I'm going to hit up our union and ask about, you know, hey, even if I'm working over there, can I still be a part of it to fucking, you know, push for efforts and shit like that? It's not like they have to know right away. New season doesn't have to know that. But, you know. I actually don't know if there's any new seasons that are unionized or not. But, if not, well, don't hurt to try to make it the first. Because I know, like, I mean, that's really how a lot of these fucking unionization trends start. It's just that it starts with one. And it starts with just some random location out of bumblefuck who knows where. Like, the first one for Amazon was Staten Island. And the second one was in, for or at least another one where it started up was in, for Starbucks was Buffalo, New York. So, I mean, it's like, you know, it's like they're not exactly like, I mean, I guess they're both in New York. I mean, not necessarily directly in New York City outside of maybe Staten Island, but nonetheless, well, even now, I don't think Staten Island is directly in New York City. It's like outside of it. But either way, it's just like, they're not exactly, you know, major places of like, oh yes, that old, you know, that old Buffalo City of Starbucks, yeah. Yeah, no one's really thinking that. So, it's just like, either way. And honestly, it's just like, think about the different industries and different companies that are being unionized for the first time, but just aren't getting the recognition and the name, or like the news cred and shit. Because there definitely are a lot of different places out there that are doing it. But honestly, you know, it's like as this labor movement and a lot of the voice of labor starts growing and shit in this country, I mean, the less likely that's to happen because more people got their eyes on it. More people are just inherently interested in it now. Whether it's just out of sheer curiosity or just out of, like, tacit interest or out of vehement interest. Which fundamentally, either way, it's a good thing. I mean, fundamentally, you can't let a bunch of far-right American national Christian fascist types, you know, distract you. I mean, it's one thing I even have to remind myself, especially from my morning stream. But, I mean, because both are definitely pretty important, but one's more of a divider more so than one that is a unifier. And trying to, you know, tackle the one as a divider and shit, you know, doesn't necessarily do much help for the average worker in that shit. I mean, it can, but, I mean, it's not like the one that, you know, directly impacts them right off the bat. And frankly, if we want to try to kill off a lot of that type of far-right ideology, you know, having a better outcome for people generally makes it so they're less likely to buy into these ideas because they're not as desperate to, you know, get back to some sort of escapist outlet and have a scapegoat. Back to work. Aww. The bell from the mine is calling you forth. Damn. Chances I'll be on here for a bit. I'm gonna be here for a while, chances. You know, let me hit up Logan. Let me see what he's doing. He was popping on the fucking Telegram chat not even like an hour ago. Yeah. Here, let me try to directly hit him up. Just one moment. Boom. There we go. Shabada boom. God damn, these things are really good. These Schilling hard ciders are actually pretty legitimately really good. I'm already almost done with this damn thing. About ready to kind of want to pop that second one. It's just like, damn, I need to kind of chill a little bit. Whoa, got a community post from Dylan Burns. Got some crazy levels of access along the front lines of this Apogigio Blast Ukraine. Went with troops. Damn, Dylan Burns next to one of these fucking. This looks like a Strela. This looks like a Strela anti-tank system. Or anti-tank missile system. Damn, Dylan. Man, when he said he was going to fucking Ukraine shit, I mean, he meant it. Like, he's like, I thought he was like, oh, I'm just gonna go to Poland and maybe like Lviv and stuff. But no, he's like actually like straight out there, dude. You know, he's kind of a lib sometimes. I mean, I don't necessarily like his foreign policy takes, but yeah, I gotta at least respect him. He's actually like out there. Like, he's actually got like the balls to go out there and shit. So I can give him that. You don't really see, like, Twitch political commentator types doing that, so, you know, I can respect him for that. It's like, alright, he's out there. He's actually there, so, like, shit. I wonder if he's, like, uploaded anything about that, because honestly, I haven't watched his channel in a while, so I honestly don't even know when he's uploaded lately. It looks like he's still been doing his usual like content, so he's still able to do that while he's out there. We should send Ignar to Ukraine as a war journalist, Kappa. Honestly, I wouldn't mind that. I actually think that'd be, I mean, a very, honestly, at minimal, a very interesting experience. I mean, because, like, it would be really, like, honestly, like, I mean, I think, you know, it would really be more of an eye-opening perspective. I mean, in a way, I'd probably, you know, honestly, legit, maybe have some more respect for the people there, but at the same time, I might also see some things that will make me feel otherwise. So, I don't know. I mean, I honestly wouldn't mind, in a way. I mean, someone would have to pay me a fuckload of money. Like, honestly, straight up, like, cover my flight, my expenses there, and pretty much, like, everything else, and have some sort of, like, money insurance policy if I get shot or something, and then we'll call it good. Like, I want at least some, like, insurance, you know what I mean? At least a little something, something. But, you know, like, honestly, all in all, like, I'd fucking do it. I mean, I kind of had, like, not obviously, like, a literal goddamn front line or some shit. But when it comes down to, like, you know, being in a very heavy military-esque style scenario, like, you know, like these protests and shit where you had militarized fucking Fed and state city goons tear gassing and shooting at people with military fucking equipment, you know, with less lethal munitions. I mean, it's just like, honestly, there's an element of, you know, war, you know, and that type of shit, because honestly, it's a class war, but nonetheless, it's still one. And frankly, like, I mean, a lot of the shit that, like, you know, when it comes to, like, urban warfare styles shit, like, there is some aspects, you know, to, like, urban combat that kind of felt very reminiscent, in a way. Minus, like, you know, the mortars and, you know, artillery and, like, an IED here and there, some shit, and, like, actual gunshots. Like, minus all that shit, But like all the heavy explosions and the fucking, snuffing out the street and squads of, fucking shock troops and shit moving down the street, like all this shit, like, I mean, there was definitely some very severe shit, that made it pretty similar. I mean, there were veterans there that said, I remember one dude who literally said, I have, done like 2 tours of fucking Afghanistan. The shit these cops do made my service look like a goddamn cakewalk. Like, like verbatim, I think, if I remember correctly, because it stuck with me so hard. I was like, fuck. So honestly, I feel kind of comfortable saying that it is at least kind of similar. Not obviously exact. There's obviously caveats and differences. Like, I'm not going to be an idiot. But, I mean, I feel like I could probably handle my metal, when it comes to that shit. I can handle it. I mean, it would be, it'd be rougher, because it's not like submunitions and fucking rubber bullets and pepper bullets and glass bullets and shit like that. It's fucking real lead. So, and frankly, if I was in a situation where I probably had no other choice, I'd probably pick a rifle up and, fight for my life too, if it had to be that way. But, I don't think that's actually technically legal for a journalist to do. Well, I don't know. I actually don't know what the international laws are when it comes to, like, war journalists and shit when it comes to that. I think if you have, like, your press shit on, you're doing that is, because you're just basically at that point, manipulating, the aspect of you being press, and then, it's like, in a way, you're essentially, like, violating, that part. So I guess there is, but, I don't know what else is beyond that. Because I know when it comes to, like, identifying civilians versus otherwise, I know there are laws on that. As Israel seems to forget, by the way, but that's just a side point. And Saudi Arabia, too, but... A lot of countries tend to forget that, but, Ignore a good shot. Russia went down, murdered American journalist. Yeah. No. They would. I'd go by a severe allergy to catching one to the face. Same here. But, I mean, again, I feel like, I could probably handle it a little better. I mean, I'm better, I guess, at absorbing the stress in a way. At least, that type of stress. So, it's just like, I mean, at least in the immediate sense I could, but, it's not like, I'm going to necessarily take it well later on. Because frankly, like, I remember a lot. I mean, it's still, it's part of, like, how I view, a lot of my politics now. But, I mean, a lot of the shit, that I seen, especially during those fucking protests I was at in 20 and 21, like, I mean, like, it's just, like, there was some crazy fucking shit. And it definitely, it's just, like, while I absorbed it, in the moment, pretty alright, coming back from them and, like, talking about them later on, especially when they were so fresh. I mean, there were some fucking nights where I know for a fact I was kind of popping off because of, like, some of the shit I saw that night. Like, I remember the fucking first night I was in all that tear gas and shit, and, like, there was just this one dude, like, out of fog, out of nowhere, as I was walking forward, wondering if there was anyone up front or some shit, and there was just one dude, obviously without a gas mask or anything like that, just choking his lungs out, dying. And, I just happened to see him, like, barely staggering, and I had my bike, so I was just looking at that, looked back and forth a few times, and I just dropped it right behind his car, and just bolted up to the dude, and he thought I was a cop at first, so initially it was like, he saw me, and I think he saw my mask, and immediately thought I was a cop. It was like, no, and I was like, no, I'm a buddy, and I got his arm around me. It's like, I'm gonna get you away from the gas and shit, and he's like, I can't breathe, and shit, and fucking got back to where the car was, where there was a medic who rushed up and got behind that by the sidewalk and shit, because at that point we were kind of out of the gas. And fucking, I picked my bike for a second, I looked back like this, and there was just, like, probably not even 10 feet away, the fucking, wall of shock troops just fucking, moving through, doing their little storm march. It's crazy fuck, and then, like, from that, I just picked my bike up, held my hat down a little bit, and fucking, just on my bike and just holding my head down and just running back and just flashbangs, fucking tear gas grenades, just popping left and fucking right. Still fucking launching these goddamn things. I remember one, like flashbang or concussion grenade or some shit, like bopping right next to my fucking ear and, like, had made a hella fucking ring and, like, nearly flashed and blinded me off in my right eye, at least for the eye socket for my gas mask and shit. The left one was fine, but you're out there being a weird one. Well, the fucked up thing is, I don't know what happened to him. Like, after I dropped him off with the two medics I saw, I mean, I never saw him since then, so I don't know if all three of them were picked up by the cops, or if they left him alone, or if they got somewhere else to better safety. I picked him up to help him get away from some of the gas and shit, but, it's like, I only did so much. I mean, what can you do, In a way, it still kind of, like, gets a little fuckety for me. I mean, not in really, like, a bad way, necessarily, but it's just, like, I mean, again, it's a part of how, like, why I have the views that I do in a lot of ways. Cop Nar is a cursed thought. Stay pure, Nar, stay pure. What, being a cop? The fuck? There's no way, dude. I mean, I think given my story and given how much experience, like, even earlier today, like, I was just casually, doing some errands, and stuff before I was called in for work and stuff. And straight up, like, I was waiting for, like, 5 fucking minutes at this, street light, to wait to turn, the walk sign on or whatever the fuck, while, traffic is going back and forth, and I'm like, you know what, fuck this. So I decided to just kind of jaywalk a little bit, and I turned around, and shit you not, there was, like, a fucking sheriff, like, especially, it's, how I talk about the Clackamas sheriff, they're pretty much fucking Nazis as far as I'm concerned. Just kind of slowly kind of cruising, maybe just barely a block away. But I'm the only one on the sidewalk, so I know these fuckers saw me. So I just kind of keep on walking because I noticed it. I'm like, oh, fuck. I literally said that. I'm like, oh, fuck. Because I knew they saw me jaywalk there. So I just kind of stopped and looked at the bus stop signs and stuff because I was going to think about maybe taking the bus and shit. So I didn't want them to fuck with me too hard, so I thought, I'll do this. But I saw, and they literally straight up, slowed down, and there's 2 of them in there, 2 bolt fucks just staring at me, dead ass, like, it's just like, and I kind of, like, glanced for a second and looked back up, at the little screen monitor thing, just seeing that, and it was like, all these fuckers, they, like, honestly, they were thinking I guarantee you in their mind, it's like, if this person's, like, Latino or looking extra poor, disheveled, or black or some shit, we would have easily pulled this motherfucker over. Because, well, this is probably why they didn't. But they gave me some fucking dirty looks, though. It's like, you know better, white boy. Like, that's the look they were giving me. It's like, you know better, whitey. It's like, oh, fuck you. I don't listen to cops. Especially when they give me dirty-ass little looks like that, goddamn pigs. You ever jaywalk just pretending to see a crosswalk even though it's only 10 feet away, like, oh, it's over there? I honestly don't even think it should be, like, some criminal offense. Like, the worst that you should get is maybe, like, $100 fine, and not even that. Like, maybe $50. Just be like, alright, it's just like, it's like, just go to court, just, pay the $50, and there you go. It's like, not even, like, something you have to literally, like, sit in front of a judge for. Just go up to, like, whatever the counter is and be like, hey, I had a little jaywalk thing, here's, like, the $50, pay it off or some shit. And honestly, even then, it should not even be, like, some record thing. And frankly, it should only be, like, a warning thing. That's really what it should be. Like, when it comes to jaywalking, make it just a thing of a warning and shit. Because honestly, if you're stupid enough to cross the street, especially when there's a lot of traffic and you get hit, then you're really, frankly, the fucking idiot. I mean, at that point, you should be charged and shit. But if you just happen to jaywalk, especially when it's, like, not really that busy, because that's the only time I do. Like, the only reason why I did it, because there's literally no cars on the street I was waiting to cross the street on, and no car was turning into the street. So, I didn't care. And then once I was done crossing the street, then a couple cars started going into the street that I was waiting to cross on, and it's like, well, okay. Like, if anything, the only reason why is because their lights started turning green. And I did not want to wait the extra fucking time, because I was getting bored, and I had a time crunch. I had Taco Bell for dinner and I have a serious case of HS. Oh my god. Honestly, like, last night, kind of low-key fuck Taco Bell right now, because I tried to, me and my roommate, like, late night, we're trying to place a order for that shit because both of us were actually a little hungry. But he was trying to do it first, but Taco Bell basically, well, first it was Grubhub. They canceled his order for some stupid reason, and then we tried to call up one of the places around here, and they're like, oh yeah, we can do the order and stuff. But then we accidentally did it to the one that I can't walk down to because it's too far away, especially during the crime touch, because we only had like an hour before it fully closed. And so you try to cancel it, but basically Taco Bell doesn't do well, they do apparently refunds, but you have to wait like 2 to 3 business days for it apparently. And I'm just like, what? And we try to cancel it, and well, at least for my friend's initial orders, like they couldn't, unfortunately. But then when I tried to do it, it literally just canceled it right off the bat because it said it was closed. I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? So it charged me anyway, and now it's just like, wow. It says it did refund me, but I honestly doubt that, and so now I'm just like, man, what the fuck? Taco Bell just gypped both of us out of some money. I mean, it wasn't that much. It was like $10 each, but still. Well, at least a little more for me because I was trying to order something on top of what he wanted. So it was more like 10 for him, and then more like, yeah, I don't know, yeah, it would be about 10. Well, actually, no, it would be like $20 for him because what he wanted was like 8 something. What I wanted was only like, well, actually it was about 8 something too, yeah. But it was a different thing. I haven't had Taco Bell almost a year. I mean, honestly, like, I don't really do it often, but if there is any fast food I usually will get, it's probably going to be TB. Or Taco Time, because I like those bean burritos and those little crispy burritos and shit. Because they're like hella long, but they're like hella good. What's wrong with you people? Do you have a bunch of stoners working there or something? Okay, well, that's just a question, but nonetheless, I'm not happy right now. Order 8 soft tacos. That's, I don't order that much, but that's usually what I get. I just get soft tacos. I usually get like 4 or 5. And then I just get like mild and fire sauce, and then just mix those two together and just go to town. That's usually what I do. I don't really go anything else. It's, it's a very simple thing, but, whatever. Honestly, because I kind of like the way you can order now, because you can actually add stuff to it and take things off. So usually what I do is I take cheese off, and then I put rice on it. Put, like, their seasoned rice. It's like 50 cents extra or some shit, but I don't even give a fuck. Honestly, that with some of the sauce on there, on those soft tacos, fucking fire. I did that one day as an experiment, and it was a very wealth-worthy experimental investment. They're actually, like, more filling that way. You pick rice over cheese. Honestly, the only reason is because they overdo it on the cheese. Like, hella fucking overdo it. It's like a fucking, like, it's like some meat, a little lettuce, and then, like, a bunch of cheese. And it's like, Jesus Christ. It's like, yo. Like, either just have, like, a nice little garnish of it, let's, like, have a nice sprinkling of it, or let's just not do it. Because, like, too much cheese is a little too much for me. I don't mind some, but the words cheese and overdoing it do not belong in the same sentence. I'm sorry, but it does for me. I'm only just starting to get into cheeses a little bit. Like, dude, if you were talking to me, like, not even, like, maybe 8 years ago, you would just hear me being like, fuck cheese. Like, straight up. Not even cheeses I like now. Like, I mean, I like some goat cheeses, like, some creamy goat cheeses, some Havarti cheese, garlic, onion cheddar cheeses and shit like that. Some spicy, like, pepper jacks and stuff. Like, I'm starting to open myself up some cheeses and shit now. String cheese, fuck no. Like, no. Like, honestly, like, way too processed. A lot of stuff that I like ends up being actually, like, really rich and, very creamy. So, string cheese, though, every time I have it, it honestly makes me like my body legit. This mozzarella, yeah, and my body outright rejects it, like outright. My body's like, no, this is repulsive. It's not even necessarily the taste of it or pepper jack. Well, I never had pepper jack string cheese. I'm assuming it would be a thing, but I guess that would probably be all right. But I mean, see, like I'm super picky when it comes to cheese. Okay, I'm just saying. When it comes to like having cheese on something like a pizza or like a burger or whatever the fuck, like I'm not gonna mind. But if it is going to be, it can't be Swiss and it can't be just like some plain ass like American fucking yellow or white. Like it's got to be something nice. Like even if it's just some standard old plain cheddar, you know. Like I mean, at least have that. I don't want no, like, weird, you know, like, because I know there's, like, some Swiss onion burgers or shit. It's like, I mean, it's like, I'm not, like, it's not the mushrooms, really, but it's more of just the Swiss. I'd want to, like, replace Swiss with something else, but then it wouldn't be a mushroom Swiss burger. It would be something different. But, I mean, that's, at least when it comes to, like, a burger, like, I'd either want, like, a little bit of variety or, like, an onion or a garlic cheddar. Because, honestly, like, an onion, a garlic, or, like, you know, or an onion and garlic cheddar, like, you know, both at once. Oh, I mean, I like cheeses that actually have like other stuff into it, especially, you know, like pepper jack and, you know, like the garlic or onion cheddars I'm talking about and stuff like that. Like, I like cheeses that have other things in it because it adds like a little bit more flavor and richness to it. That's why I like these bland ass like hella processed just vanilla bitch cheeses. Is like, ugh, it's gross. Like, there's just no way in hell I'll, you know, do processed shit. Just, it like, honestly, straight up just feels, tastes, and just acts like plastic, and it's just like, this is human? This is meant for consumption? I guess, okay. I mean, we already got microplastics in our system, let's have some macroplastics. Got the micros, get the macros. It's just like, oh my god, what is this world? I just can't imagine, like, I honestly would, want to try, like, one of those, like, cheddar cheese rolls, like, one of those little, like, those big-ass rolls, because that shit looks fucking hella bomb. Like, that nice crumbly cheese and shit, like that crumbly Parmesan, oh my god, that shit's fucking hella fire. I love Parmesan. Parmesan is fucking, like, hella goddamn fire, because honestly, like, it's that crumbly ass Parmesan, or even, like, that, like, string Parmesan you might put, like, on a salad or something. Ooh. Blue cheese. It has mold on it. Fuck no. Like, no. Like, just the thought of that actually makes me sick. Like, bleh. It's just cheese that got moldy, and some fuck out there was like, oh, I'm gonna eat this, and was like, this is good. It's safe to eat, relax. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care if it's safe to eat, it's moldy. I don't understand why people like that shit. I smell it, it's repulsive. I look at it, it looks repulsive. It's like, oh. What son of a bitch looked at that type of cheese and thought, I can eat that? And I guess you can, but how dare you insult my favorite salad dressing? Oh my god. Oh my lord. Oh, I just can't. I can't even with that. Obviously your palate is built different, because mine is just, it ain't about that. Blue cheese. Shut up. Hey, asshole. Blue cheese, yay or nay?
What?
Blue cheese, yay or nay?
Tastes like shit.
Thank you. An innovator ignored. That's who looked at it. Whoever looked at blue cheese and thought, yeah, that's good, and I'm an innovator, is
fucking
psychotic.
I was gonna go a little bit further than that.
Well, I mean, you know, yeah.
I'm gonna keep it PG.
Yeah. Well, you're both wrong. Well, you are wrong for trying to double-fy our wrongness, thinking that is wrong.
Who's saying it?
Rose Black.
I don't know who the fuck they are, but they need to fuck off then. Literally, blue cheese is fucking disgusting.
It's just
fuck.
cheese and mold. He's gonna go hardcore about it. He's gonna be blunt with you. I'm just kind of. I'm a drunk, silly fuck. Like
your opinion does not fucking matter to me.
Well, it does to me. I could eat a block of it. Oh my.
You're making me want to vomit.
Man, there's some things that make me like some queasiness, but the consumption of an entire block of blue cheese. I mean, your body.
What was going on today with your dad?
What about him?
Your dad's saying like bad kitty and bad dog.
Oh.
What the fuck?
Oh, he's just not having a good day with pets apparently, because while I was gone, I was trusting him a little bit, on his own, being outside and stuff like
that.
Yeah,
With
and
the cat.
Well, I guess apparently when he was petting Bandit, he decided to pet back and swiped his hand. I don't know why. I don't know what was that.
Bandit gets in a pissy mood every now and then.
Yeah, he just does. Like, that's just Bandit, but. He's like, oh, I'm, just feels like I'm out, go hush for the day. It's like, just fucking clean it. Like, get some soap, wash your hands, and, like, bandage it up if need be, and you should be fine. Like, I mean, it's like, then if not, but I guarantee he doesn't, because I don't think the idea of self-preservation is left in his head anymore at this point. It's just like, I have no idea. It's like, well, I'm injured. Well, it is what it is.
When Bandit gets in a pissy mood, I just put him down and go, no, and he just looks at me like, fuck you.
Yeah, Bandit just be like that sometimes. He's kind of a grouchy, cynical bastard. But I like that.
How old is Bandit?
He's not...
9?
No, he's like probably maybe 3 or 4 now. He's not that old. We've only had him for...
I got Aries at 9 months, and now he's 5. Go back 5 years. I got him in like 2018. I think. 18 or 17.
No, actually, it's probably about around the same time we got Bandit. So, now Bandit's actually probably more about like 5-ish. So it's actually more about...
But he's bigger than my fucking cat, dude. Oh my fucking god.
Dude, he was like he was this tiniest little kitten, and eventually out of nowhere, he just just became huge.
When I got Aries, he was really tiny, and then like he started like getting bigger and bigger, and I'm like, okay, you can stop, and then he just stopped. I'm just like, yes.
Yes.
He's this pretty little thing that I can literally like hold him in one hand and go like this, and he doesn't do shit. He is literally my cat. I can literally do whatever the fuck I want to him, and he never hisses, never growls at me.
I mean, I wish Bandit was like that, but he's just like, fuck you, I do what I want mentality too much. Because he'll get like hella pissed at me some days.
How my cat is so ingrained in my, like, he knows who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I kept him in my room for 2 fucking months.
Well, yeah, that usually helps.
Just so he would know.
Yeah. Bandit is boss. Dude, Bandit is boss.
I'll try to get my mom to take a picture of all the babies.
Yeah, I got Steve, dude. His mama has more kitties.
But she's not keeping them. Which fucking sucks.
Aww.
Well, we can't keep him because of Aries. He's a dick.
Yeah, he's being a dick about it.
Well, it's his house.
Oh, yeah, obviously he's like, okay, these other cats, fuck this. They are invaders on my home turf.
He's the only cat that I know that has a dog.
Well, what about Bandit? I mean, Zukov. I mean, you see how they react.
But they don't cuddle together. My cat cuddles with my dog.
There's been rare, I mean, it's rare, but I have seen moments where Bandit and Zukov get cuddly with each other. They don't, like, sleep next to each other or anything like that. They don't really have, a way to do that. They don't have much, because Bandit likes being up top on things, and Zukov likes being in my room, usually. Or by me.
Okay.
But, like, there's been times where Bandit's been on my lap, where Bandit will come in, and they actually will be more friendly with each other, and he'll just sniff Bandit, and Bandit will actually rub his face on him and stuff a little bit.
I have a futon at home. Aries. Look.
I kind of wish it'll get to that point. The closest those two will get to that is if I have Bandit here, and Zukov is, like, right beside me right here. That's the closest I've gotten to that, but... Like, side by side next to each other, though, like, right next to each other, I mean, not quite, but it's been close. So I know they're chill with each other, they just... Zukov gets just a little too heavy sometimes, because, well, he's got this big paw, so sometimes that, like, like, that smacking up, yeah, like, all over Bandit, yeah, so they play rough, but, you know, it's all play fighting. It's more about his older siblings that, you know, when they see Bandit, that I gotta watch out for, because they aren't as exposed to cats like he is on a daily basis. Like, I wouldn't worry about him around a cat, really. It's more of a, you know, like, but Jazzy and Vito, I probably would be a little bit. Because Logan was telling me about how they were kind of more of a hump mode versus Zukov, where he was just being more of a play mode. So... It's like, I want to at least make sure that the older siblings don't really see the cats as prey. Like, Zukov don't, but his older brother and sister, I don't know. His older sister probably not, because she's almost the same size as Bandit, or Bandit is just about the size of her. Jazzy's tiny. She's a tiny thing.
So what did you buy?
These Schilling hard ciders, big zesty guava lemon. Has a little koala on it.
I have to go to work.
I know. Well, I'm just showing you. I'm not.
Mine's right there. That's why I haven't touched it.
Yeah.
Oh, I figured out. Wait, do you still want to do that thing that my mom was talking about? Toaster oven.
Yeah, I'm actually still very interested about that.
Okay.
There's actually something that one of my coworkers has shown me, like these little oat ball things that are perfect for air frying. So
well, the one we're gonna get is toaster oven and air fryer.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So it's just like, cause he's been saying that that's like his like go-to for stuff like in the morning, because they're really really good. So I forgot what the brand was, but I saw what he showed me, so I know what they look like. So I'll have to you know, especially, you know, when we actually get that, we'll have to I'll have to like grab a couple of those and see, you know, which ones are good. What'd you just do?
I have 5 months.
I
have 5 months.
5 months?
So I'm 34.
Well, I got like what?
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Hold on.
Fuck you.
I'm not even trying to flex. Like, dude.
You're younger than me, so fuck you.
I don't. So whatever. Like, that ain't the age thing. I'm just trying to say how many months I have. Because it's June, it's 6. No, I got 3 months.
You want to hear something
August.
Funny? You want to hear something
Actually, 2.
You want to hear something funny?
A little over 2 months. Jesus Christ, already? What the fuck? Oh my god! I just realized that. Oh my fucking god. I'm gonna be like, what, 25? Really? Oh my fucking Christ alive.
You wanna know what sucks?
What?
When I'm 36, when I'm 35, guess how old Sarah will be? 30.
Oh my Jesus Christ.
We have to throw something for Sarah on her dirty 30. I seriously have to do something.
So I'm gonna be a quarter fuck. What the fuck? Oh my god. What the fuck, dude? Already? What the? Jesus.
Oh, this is great. You're gonna be a quarter century old.
I mean, I don't mind that. That's cool, but, like, all fucking Jesus already, man. What the fuck this year?
And guess what?
It's kind of flown a little.
And guess what?
Mid-20s, welcome to hell. Fuck you.
Guess what? And we haven't become alcoholics yet.
Woo! So you used to say woo while I have a beer in my hand.
My brother's worse than you.
I know people who are fundamentally worse than me. Like, honestly...
My brother came out to my mom's house.
Honestly, considering, like, how I look at myself and family plus people I've just seen at bars and shit, I know I'm a fucking lighthead when it comes to shit. Like, I know I'm honestly okay with this.
My mom can have 2 shots and be perfectly fine.
I can be pretty much the same way. I mean, I might be buzzed, but I'd be fine, you know. Like, I'm buzzed now, and I'm fine. I mean, but I could be more buzzed on 2 shots, but... I mean, it's just like, you know...
There's still something in the freezer.
I was gonna ask you about that. What's up with that?
It's still in there.
Have you tried any of it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean...
Yeah, the rest of it if you want it. It's too sweet for me.
Too sweet? Yeah, that's good.
Oh, that's why it's called Sweet Revenge.
I wish we had passion over guava fruit. You know that?
You do not tomorrow off, do you?
Yeah, I do. Well, I'm thinking actually maybe like at 6 or 7, maybe showing up like I did today, just so I can get like the 6 to 8 overtime hours and shit. Like I was telling you about, because honestly, like, I mean, with the overtime pay of that and shit, it's like, it bumps it a fuckload, and it's like...
I need a haircut really bad. Shut up. I can't grow my hair like that. It bothers the fuck out of me.
You get used to it. I mean, honestly, that's why I shaved the sides, because honestly, like, the fucking, like, you know, the hair getting all knotted up and all this shit, and then it kind of, like, getting in my ears a little bit, like, that was annoying me, so I was like, you know, and I was, like, thinking one day, it's like, you know what? Like, I slicked this about as far as I could, and just try to, like, you know, hide that a little bit, and just kind of see, what would it look like if just the top and the back, you know? And I'm like, you know what, fuck, I'm just gonna do it. And I just did it, and I was like, alright, this actually don't look too bad, this actually looks alright, you know? So, I just kind of stuck with it, and honestly, I'm thinking about maybe...
You got, like, full-on mullet going on.
The front is too long for it, because it's still all long, like, if I took it all out, it's still all long at the front. Like, it's not...
Dude, you should, like, totally just, like...
Pompadour mullet? I'm thinking about that now.
No, you should just, like, mullet it.
Well, I'm thinking about pompadour mullet it, maybe. Like, you know, maybe having it, like, a little long, but having, you know, some, you know, product or some shit so it kind of pops up and actually kind of, like, you know, has a little style to it, you know, and I could kind of, you know, flex it one way or the other or some shit if I wanted, and then just let it all kind of just chill in the back and shit. But I'm kind of letting the, you know, back of it grow out here a little bit and letting it kind of fill in a little bit and just kind of seeing if I want to work with that or not. And now I gotta do all this shit because I at least want the top knot. I at least want that.
Yeah. No, I'm short on the side, kind of long on top.
Honestly, I've been seeing like bullets more lately, and honestly, like I'm thinking like the bullets are.
Man bun.
Nah, well, yeah, they're still around, but, like, I mean, straight up mullets, though. Like, I mean, our new assistant manager, like, one of his nephews, he straight up has, like, a full-on mullet, and it's actually fucking rocking, though. Like, I'm not even kidding, dude. He's, like, actually fucking rocking that mullet, and I'm like, god damn. And I've seen people...
I really wish you would have met the other Andrew that was doing my work. he was like, full-on, like, hair, just like yours.
Yeah, and there's also been a bunch of different people that have just kind of, I've just, you know, I would observe that kind of come through the store and shit that just straight up have full-on mullets. So I'm like, I'm thinking like they'll just dead ass, like the 80s is legit kind of coming back as like an aesthetic style in the culture a little bit, and mullets are kind of a part of that, you know, honestly. Because I have been seeing it, you know, being coming out a little bit more often than not, and it's not just rednecks or hillbillies or whatever the fuck that are wearing them. Like, it's just, you know, there's been a few average Joe Schmo type people that are wearing it, so it's like, it's kind of coming back, and I kind of like it. Because if done right, they actually look pretty badass. You've been at that rawhide for days. And Janetta, your new little doggy girlfriend, I guess. Dog over there.
Oh, yeah.
Across the street, yeah. Yeah, he, like, lives like, he refused, like, this was funny, like, I actually was rolling the ball down the street and shit a little bit, and deadass, he was running to it, and then he turned his head and literally, like, just start curving over to her, just, like, hanging out with her. I'm like, oh my god, you son of a bitch. And I think she's also, like, a little German Shepherd mix as well, and she's just got the cutest little fur pattern, too. It's just adorable. She has, like, these cute little white, fluffy paws, and just, like, this blue eye and then a brown eye. I forgot. I think it's a
husky mix.
Yeah, she's definitely a husky mix a little bit.
Or Malamute, because Malamutes have different...
I think she's a Shepherd Malamute mix of some sort, but I'm not too sure exactly. I forgot what.
It was funny, we went to the pet store.
She's got a really quirky name, is Hionetta.
It's kind of funny, we have a pet store in Vancouver. Every time we go to the Vancouver Mall, me and my girlfriend have to go look. Because the day that I find my husky, I swear to fucking God. We're looking at her back, honey, look. She's like, what? Your puppy. Your fluffy puppy. She wants one. She wants a husky so fucking bad.
Dude, yeah. Like, I mean, if... especially when I get into a more stable situation where I could potentially have two, I'd love to have, like, a little husky for a Zukov to be around with and have a little buddy with. Dude, I love huskies. I love huskies.
Because he doesn't talk. Your husky will sit there and talk to you.
Yeah.
No,
well, Zukov will probably catch on, too, a little bit.
My dad had one that,
I mean, Zukov talks to me a little bit, though. Like, he'll kind of make little noises and give me a lot of body language.
Yeah, but huskies are, like, full-on. Like,
full-on vocal.
I will fucking talk to you.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny, because, my dad had one. Her name was Molly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. She would sit there and talk to my dad. She would have the last word over my dad.
Oh, actually, this reminds me. There's this chick who comes into the store that has like this all-white husky. That's I think like a service. I think it's a service dog, but not like, you know. I think probably more like an emotional one. Yeah, but. I mean, she's actually met Zukov, and oh my god, as soon as that dog saw Zukov, she was all vocal as shit. It was just like, oh my god. Will there be little bandits?
No.
He's probably outside or somewhere inside, plopped out of his ass.
There will be no little bandits.
I mean, maybe if my dad hasn't fed them yet. But.
Your dad feeds them at fucking like 12 or fucking 1 o'clock in the morning.
I know, it's like, I don't know why he feeds them so fucking late. It's not like they don't get fed before that, because they do have like big old food bowl, but still, it's just like, what the fuck?
Oh, I want to go see that movie so bad. But I don't want to pay the fucking movie prices.
Hunter Alavalone debates his wife? Oh my goodness.
Why'd you try drawing this out? Try. For the longest time.
Do you think I do much with this? Does it
just come in all like...
It's just meh.
Do you shave it at all?
I mean, there's been times I've trimmed it, but not lately.
That's like shave it all. Just like go like a constant month of like shaving all of it, and it will start coming in thicker.
I mean, at least the top shit's starting to kind of come in pretty nice, but yeah.
I can have that in like a week.
Well, fuck you. I don't got them jeans.
No, it's because of my heritage.
I don't got them jeans of like beard.
No, I don't have it either. It's just my heritage.
Well, you got, better beard go, jeans than mine, because mine's all like,
okay,
splotchy.
German, Irish, Scottish, and Native.
The Native will usually preclude you from having the facial hair and shit.
Not in my family.
I mean...
But the bad thing about my family is our hair,
yeah,
is fucking thick as fuck. Because my grandma was full Blackfoot. I wish I would have met my grandma. That would fucking sick.
Well, my hair is pretty thick, too. And a lot of it's just, I think, from, like, the Anglo-Saxon, like, Nordic background. Just because of the Northern European muttness and...
Well, see,
thicker hair tends to be better for, colder climates.
It's kind of one of those things that, like, literally right now, since it's been hot and shit, like, I sweat now. It's just like...
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, today I've been sweating all... Like, I came home sweaty, and now I'm no longer sweaty, but, like, god.
Like, in the morning I usually wear a sweater.
Dude, oh my god. Dude, I hate waking up all sweaty. Dude, there's been days more than ever now where it's like, I wake up and it's all schwitz.
That's why I'm always in shorts when I get home. I can't sleep when it's hot. I can't.
Me neither.
If
Like,
I'm hot, I can't.
I mean, it's a balance for me.
Now,
like,
if I'm sick, that's a different story.
yeah, honestly, for me, it's like a balance. I don't want it cold, but I want it at least nice and warm. But I don't want to be so warm and hot where I'm schwitzing. You know, it's just like, I don't want that. Like, I just want to be kind of nice and warm and comfortable. Like, comfortably warm. Comfortably numb. You know?
You want to hear something stupid?
If
I get really hot, I get really sick. Really sick. Like, I can't literally...
Your body just can't handle heat. I'm kind of the same way. Like, honestly, there's been times at work, especially...
Like during summer, when it's hot...
Or that heat dome and shit that we had. Like, I was working through a lot of that shit, and there was times where I'll be at work, I'm like, literally doing this, like, oh, God, I need, like, water or something. And then, like, there was, like, one day where I was like, yo, you need to, like, sit down or something? It's like, yo, you know, yeah, I think I need a break. Yeah, I'm just gonna grab some water real quick and just kind of sit for a minute, you know, grab something to eat, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's and I did, and I ended up being better, but because it's honestly, I mean, heat sickness is a legit thing, and some people just straight can't handle it. Like, any type of heat, they get sick, you know, way more quicker.
Well,
now, you know, I'm definitely one of those people.
I can wear shorts to work.
Yeah.
But
What enough? Allahu Akbar? We're gonna die? I don't wanna die! No! Why is it all creaky? Stop!
Oh, it's heating up the water.
I get paranoid about this place sometimes. Like, I feel like one day that shit's just gonna explode or some shit, and I'm gonna be in here. Everyone's gonna just, you know, just gonna be the infamous stream where all of a sudden it's just like a big white flash of explosion, and somehow the phone survives, but also I'm just not here anymore. I'm just like viscera, just over here and shit, just gone. But because there's nothing really...
I'll be against the window.
Yeah, because you're directly on the other side of the wall. Well, you have the wall at least.
The wall's gonna take with me.
You have a higher chance of surviving. I get shrapnel and direct blast of death. I mean, I'm fucked. Fuck the heat, fuck summer. I don't need mosquitoes after me unless it's for Jurassic Park cloning related purposes with heat stroke. Jesus. I mean, honestly,
out of nowhere.
I mean, yeah, Jurassic Park cloning related purposes, like, you know, to make them extinct. Yeah, you know, I'm okay with that. But, you know, anything beyond that, yeah, fuck mosquitoes, fuck summer, fuck the heat dome we had. I don't even know.
We have that again, I swear to God.
Honestly, it's likely that it's likely going to be more of a common occurrence, but,
if I have it, it's going to suck.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it will happen again this year, but that type of shit will be more of a common occurrence, you know, like, definitely. Especially as it gets, you know, luckily this year's legitimately been, like, very, very wet, so it's like, it's actually been a really nice blessing in my mind.
How was that with Harley running away the other day?
Huh?
Or last night?
Running away? What do you mean?
Yeah, I came out and I saw Harley and he just like
Probably
ran away with the bike to the end of the block. I'm just like, hey.
Going to work, probably?
At the end of the block.
What, today?
I guess today, yesterday, or whatever, but earlier today.
Earlier today. He was at work. He probably was going to work. He was taking a shortcut because he knows random little shortcuts in this fucking place. I do too. Like, I go, like, I've taken them before. I know what shortcuts he's using.
There's no shortcut. He goes straight down the block to work.
Well, okay, you're no okay. I thought you meant the other fucking whatever. He was going to work. That's all I know because I saw him like after I left.
Trying to pay him back his $20.
Well, he was probably in a rush, you know, because he was probably later. So I don't fucking know. I mean, it's not like, you know, you won't see him ever again.
Who knows?
Frankly, it's like half the time I wonder if you're like Boomhauer English, you know, it's like, I don't even know.
I'm not going out. I gotta go to work. I don't want it.
I don't blame you.
I gotta be up at fucking 5.
Oh, God.
I gotta be at work by 6:20.
Gross, man.
The next 2 days I have to be at 5.
Ugh. Ugh. Oh my. Ugh. I can't even fathom, you know, working shit like that. I could not do mornings. Mornings are just something that would be just unacceptably. He's going town on that tortilla. That rawhide is slowly turning into like a little weird tortilla. Because he's like breaking it. Or not breaking it, but it's just like so loose now, it's just like rolling out. Becoming like a flat piece. God, what a fucking weird little pooch. You're just so weird, look at you. You're just so cute and weird. He just loves that damn ride. Little silly boy. Here, key takeaways from the first public hearing on the Jan 6 insurrection. Apparently there's actually like some shit, and that's gonna come from this. I kinda wanna check this out a little bit. Mainly just because I know my friend was mentioning something that he says there's some pretty damning stuff, and it's just like, ooh. Ooh, I like it. Because fuck these people.
Either
oh, wait.
like Harley, either that or somebody that looked like Harley stole one of his bags.
Was it blue hair?
I couldn't tell. It's getting towards the end of the black, but
I cannot tell bright ass blue fucking hair that he has. Unless all this time you've been colorblind and I never knew that.
no, he has blue hair. Last time I seen him, yeah, I couldn't tell. It's just like a little black speck.
Well, at that point, fuck, yeah, I mean, it's... Well, honestly, considering he had to work early in the morning, yeah, you know, he probably got off work and was picking something up. Honestly, that's probably what it was, because I know he said he was coming back, you know, for some shit or something. He probably thought I was home or something like that.
I have a $20 bill with his name written all over it.
Well, okay, well, I already know that.
Side table if he's here and I'm not.
Next time I see him or text him, I'll fuck him. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I already know this. He's just having so much fun with that rawhide. That's sweet, baby.
Yeah, can you be more in the way if you tried?
Yeah, he could.
I don't think so.
Well,
you could stretch out this way. But...
He's going to town on that thing. Yeah, look at you. You're going to town on that. He's got that in like a peculiar position. Man, if dogs had fucking opposable thumbs, they would probably be competing us to conquer the world. And I would submit to their whims. I would submit to the canine overlords if they had opposable thumbs. And
yeah, bonehead. Bonehead.
That's not a bone, that's a rawhide. You're spreading disinformation, fake news. I'm gonna have to sue you for fucking libel and slander. Fake news.
And Trump asked us to come. He personally asked for us to come to D.C. that day. I know why I was there, and that's because he called me there. But I remember Donald Trump telling people to be there.
Basically, yeah, he asked for us to come to D.C.
Well, so far, I think we're hearing some pretty damning evidence. pretty much everybody, I know this is all, I guess, all clipped or whatever, but it's just like, they're all like, oh, yes, you know, hey, you know, he called us there that day. He called for us that day and shit like that. Which, isn't that kind of, like, cultish, you know, and very, like, you know, hyper-partisan in a lot of ways? It's like, I mean, it's one thing to be like, hey, you know, if a politician says, hey, let's organize and have some rallies, you know, to, you know, like, stand, you know, against, you know, some stuff that I think is unjust and shit. But considering these circumstances and how he went about it, that's not exactly how he couched it. So, curious.
What got me interested, he said, I have something very important to say on January 6th or something like that.
Well, the first of 7 hearings by the Select Committee on January 6th just concluded, and I wanted to share my immediate thoughts, having just watched it. It's still fresh on my mind. And I wanted to give you some key takeaways. And before I say anything, before you hear my commentary or anyone else's commentary, I just want to highly recommend that you watch this yourself. Don't take it.
It's probably fucking hours long. Like, I'm not gonna watch it right now.
Someone else, watch it yourself. I think this is really important, and genuinely I believe that this is a turning point for democracy. Either we go forward and protect democracy, or we don't do anything about what we witnessed, and we potentially see democracy end very, very soon in this country. And I don't believe that that's hyperbole. I think that after having just watched all of that,
I mean, I also don't know how long it is, but I'm assuming it's probably multiple hours. And, I mean, frankly, like, I mean, I probably wouldn't disagree with him. Like, I mean, alright, I'm gonna have to definitely watch this, I mean, at some point. But, you know, so I guess, you know, when it comes to my commentary, we'll have to take note that, you know, I haven't seen it yet. But, you know, at least, you know, I want to kind of get a general synopsis about what it's all about at the very least. And considering that I already kind of have, like, a general consensus take about these fucking people, like, I mean, you know, it's like, I mean, outside of, you know, what their testimonies are and shit, I mean, honestly, I could probably assume a couple things, and I probably wouldn't necessarily be wrong, or at least not that far off. And I mean, it's just like, I still will, at the very least, but it's just like, considering that, you know, ideologically and politically, you know, whether from historic backing or contemporary backing, you know, I know how far-right nationalists and Christo-fascists and Nazistic fascists, you know, act and shit. It's like, I mean, I don't really necessarily need an entire fucking, you know, testimony and then, like, you know, this whole fucking massive investigation to figure out what they're all about and what they want and what they wanted to do and who was fucking enacting and inciting it. Like, I mean, it doesn't exactly take a damn genius, but to have the evidence and see all the shit unfolded in all the specific detail, though, is pretty interesting at the very minimal. And I think it's definitely worth taking note of, because it kind of gets you definitely more of a thoughtful and better insight about how these fucking people think and act.
or again, it's evident that he's not going to give up that power.
Know your enemy and know yourself.
And that's the one thing that really kept going through my head. After seeing the footage again, a really long montage about the way this attack was very deliberate and planned by the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys. What was evident is, if the people in power, if Donald Trump are not held accountable, this will happen again, and the next time, they're going to be successful.
I mean, honestly, that's the main thing I have some skepticism about, is that, like, do we really see anything fucking... Like, I mean, since when has a president actually been held accountable to anything? Like, I'll fucking wait. Like, honestly, it's like, I'm like, the closest is probably Nixon, and even then, not really, because he resigned before anyone actually tried to hold him accountable. So, like, I mean, you know, he, you know, being the slick dick that he was, you know, got out of being held accountable before someone tried to hold him accountable, because he was pretty close to being held accountable. Like, I mean, he kind of saw the writing on the wall, so he, you know, like, so even then, not even him. It's just like, I mean, like, there's no president that's been, like, truly held accountable and shit. So, frankly, if Donald Trump actually gets held accountable to any of the shit that he's done during his presidency, this will legit be a fucking first in America. Like, dead ass. And, honestly, it'd be a long fucking time coming. A long time coming. It's like, wow, a president actually being held accountable? Fuck. Wow, can we make sure that is a trend? Let's not make this an exception to the rule. That's all I'd say. You know, it's like, hey, if we're actually gonna hold this guy accountable, let's actually do this for the rest of them, yeah? Well, grandfather, you know what? I'll even give compromise to grandfather in the previous ones, but it's like, from Trump forward, let's keep this accountability trend going, yeah?
Which I think is probably pretty obvious. The main takeaway for me from this whole hearing is that it is now abundantly clear that January 6th would not have happened had it not been for Donald Trump inciting it.
Because he's a fucking fascist. I mean, go figure, you know? Like, duh.
My kids didn't have the courage to do what should have been done to protect our country and our Constitution, giving states a chance to certify...
I don't know if anyone's noticed this, but for some reason, like, I've noticed this myself, but, like, during Trump's tenure at Trump rallies, there's always, like, these... this is just the first thing I noticed, but, like, we'll go back just a little bit. There's that, like, South Vietnamese flag there. And then, obviously, you got the Confederate rag, you know, flying off in the background, too. Is that a Polish flag? Man, there's all sorts of fucking flags flying around. Jesus Christ. Man, honestly, every single one of them, at this point, ought to be burned. The only presidents who were punished in a very technical sense were Lincoln and Kennedy. I guess. I mean, in a sense. I mean, the only... I guess for Lincoln and Kennedy, they were both assassinated. But if that's the case, I mean, they weren't the only ones. I mean, also, I guess technically, yeah, that those are punishments. So, I mean, if we're going to expand that logic, then yes, there's been presidents who have been punished, or at least, you know, when it comes to being accountable to some of their shit. But I'm not counting that. I don't really count those. Anyway, but, like, I know at least when it comes to these, like, South Vietnamese flags, like, from my understanding, I think it's because, like, there's a lot of South Vietnamese refugees that are, like, multi-generational and shit during the Vietnam War that, like, are hyper fucking conservative and Republican, because a lot of them probably came from, like, the Christian / Catholic fascist dictatorship from Diem, I think his name was, who was essentially the U.S.-propped military dictator that literally did a mass slaughter and persecution of Buddhists and different monks and shit, and was just outright, just straight up a fascist, just straight up. Like, I mean, it's just like, I mean, honestly, especially considering what I've learned about Ho Chi Minh and his upbringing and background, he actually was legit, like, out of all the different, like, you know, communist, you know, dictators and all that shit, he was actually legit probably, like, one of the best ones. Like, he was, you know, because he wasn't, like, you know, some dude trying to fucking, like, literally do some weird fucking, like, shit or whatever. He actually wanted to, even implying that, like, you know, like, Stalin or Mao was doing the same shit or whatever the fuck, because they, you know, were doing the same thing in their own way. Or I guess not really Stalin, but, like, you know, Lenin, but... I mean, you know, because if anything, honestly, like, at least in his more early life, he was more of a democratic socialist and shit. He only really became more of a communist just because of the whole fucking colonialist wars that he was fighting with the French and then with America. Weird. A lot of the fucking wars that, you know, he was going out with this shit was essentially fucking, you know, basically just, like, what made him radical. Curious.
Not the fraudulent or inaccurate ones, which they were asked to previously certify. The U.S. demands the truth.
Well, someone have to be angry Buddhists. Look at them meditating. They think they're all better than me. I'll show them.
Incited that insurrection
seriously.
On the Capitol. They planned everything around Donald Trump's words. And the individuals who were conducting this hearing did not mince words. They used words such as sedition. They said Trump knew that he lost this election. He told people, specifically Justice Department officials, after William Barr had resigned, and these were the individuals who replaced Barr, I believe, just say that the election was corrupt. So this was very deliberately an attempt for Donald Trump to remain in power unconstitutionally so. And I know that most of my viewers already know that, but I feel like this is really the first time where the American people are seeing a cohesive narrative. You're not just seeing a clip here or a clip there or a tweet from Trump here or there. You're seeing it all together in chronological order, and it's evident Trump did this. Now, I want to jump ahead for a moment because they shared a little bit of a preview of what's to come on June 13th, which is when part 2 of the 7-part hearing resumes. And individuals who showed up said very clearly, Trump invited us. That's why we're here. They were reading Trump's tweets during the insurrection. They were there because of Donald Trump. And because Trump failed to overturn the election via the courts, this was the culmination of his effort to steal the election, January 6th. And that's specifically the way that they worded it in this hearing. Now, there were multiple people around Donald Trump, people within the...
Man, honestly, these fucking, cops that day... The one thing that I'm kind of frustrated about the January 6th committee and shit is that they're not also, on top of this, investigating the goddamn cops. Because I saw a lot of footage of cops that day doing fuck all. In fact, there was a few of them that were just kind of casually chatting with these people. It's like, oh yeah, we respect your right to literally barge in and do a fucking coup. But don't be too violent now. I mean, and they were straight up, a lot of them, even inside the building, that were literally, running to higher ground to fucking, get to their extra buddies and shit when they literally have a Glock 21 on their fucking hip. 45 cal. Or 9 mil of Glock 19. It's just like, the fuck do you think you have that for, piggy? Good stuff, steal but store the gavel. That's not how democracy works. Yeah, seriously. I mean, not at all. I mean, it would be the case if, if somehow Biden legitimately lost the election, but then, last second clutched up and, somehow fucking, got courts and fucking different things where, there was actual, dudes on the ground fucking, confiscating things and shit. Unless he did, unless there was, a full-on physical shit going down, I mean, which never happened because, I mean, just the election as is happened or whatever the fuck. It's just that because there was more mail-in voting, a lot of it didn't come in right off the bat. So, it's like a lot of that shit has to be counted to as well, but it's not going to be, right off the bat. It also has to be, it's going to take a few days. So, it's just like, what, you think, it's just going to be the first, an election all happens in one singular fucking night? I mean, if anything, Bernie should have won, but that's another topic, but DNC shittery side between Biden and Trump, it had a clear winner. Of course it did. I mean, it was pretty fucking obvious. Honestly, I remember watching this on the Ben Shapiro Gauntlet, but I think when it came to, I remember the Andrew Neil interview that Ben Shapiro had, and Andrew Neil asked him, who do you think could beat Trump in the general election? And even he said Biden. So it's even conservatives knew, it's oh yeah, if there's anyone who could beat Biden, it would be Donald Trump. Yeah. It's there was even fucking conservatives who even agreed with him who knew that he could potentially beat him. And honestly, it's because he's a perfect corporate piece of shit that can also, fall in line with a lot of different right-wing ideas and shit. And then from there, could also, at least, fall down the DNC pipeline and shit and just continue doing their fucking business as usual and just continue the same divide and just kind of keep the status quo that it is. So if anything, a lot of the, at least conservative commentators that kind of saw the writing on the wall like Shapiro did in a way, I mean, just kind of prove that, yeah, well, it doesn't really take that much, to beat him and shit. It just, takes, just enough. It wasn't so much about Biden winning, it was much about Trump losing. Yeah, I mean, really. I mean, I didn't necessarily vote for that election myself personally. I mean, I think I did. I think I just did like Green Party, whoever was running in that, and it wasn't, you know, and it honestly wasn't obviously really for anything because I knew like even then it wasn't going to be like, oh, they could get like, you know, 5% vote, get like federal funding and stuff like that. I mean, I kind of saw 2016 to realize that that was not going to happen. So. Because I definitely remember voting Green Party in 2016, and it was on the hopes that, you know, they can at least get 5%. That was the main reason, at least at that time. But then I realized, well, they barely got 2% nationally. So, yeah, like, that's honestly gonna fucking happen. And the fact that there's kind of like a fucking minimal when it comes to that shit is a little stupid. It's like, I think if you have at least, you know, enough states, like, I think it should just be a state criteria. If you have enough states that actually have your party on the fucking ballot, like, you know, the Progressive Party, or, like, the Working Families Party, or, like, the Green Party, or whatever the fuck, like, I mean, if there's enough states that have you on your election ballots and shit like that, like, let's say 10 out of the 50, then you should get some federal funding. Like, because obviously you got enough swaying power where there's at least, you know, influence in multiple states where it's like, alright, you can have some funding. Like, it should just be, like, state criteria with that. Like, if you're some weird little isolated party that's like, you know, the Wisconsin Bowl Cheese Party or some shit, I don't even fucking know. Like, something like that, you know, where it's just mainly, like, you know, some state-based thing, at least, you know, for that weird-ass thing, you know, I guess, you know, Wisconsin-specific thing. I mean, it's not, you know, it's no point, but, you know, for, like, the Working Families Party or, like, the Green Party and shit, yeah, because they're in pretty much almost every state. It doesn't even really have to be that much. It's like, you know, like 10 states you get a little bit, but if you got, like, 30 or 40 states that you're in, then you get a pretty good amount. Just make it, like, you know, depending on how many states you're in. But the people who say we'd be better if Hillary had been elected, I want them staring these vacant soulless eyes filled with life energy. If everyone tell me to work for her, then tell me she would still make me a good president. She wouldn't. Frankly, she would be fundamentally worse. Like, honestly, like, a lot of the problems that we, you know, got under Trump wouldn't necessarily be that much different. It would be under this weird virtue signaling, like, woke, pandering, fucking, I'm a woman, guys. You know, it'd basically be that. You know, a lot of the corporate sellout shit, a lot of the war hawkish shit with Russia would be still abnorant. Like this war with Ukraine, like, I mean, Jesus Christ, I mean, fuck me, dude. I don't even want to know what Hillary would be doing when it came to the war with Ukraine. Like, we might, unironically, would have a legit World War III with that. I'm not even being hyperbolic. Like, she was like, she wanted a no-fly zone in Syria. And, like, dude, you know she would fucking hella push that fucking Ukraine, and then some. Like, she would want troops on the ground on that shit. Like, dude, she would be like, I will put troops on the ground to stop their advancement. Because if they go further, then they will be, you know, going against us. And you know they just would anyway. They're like, we don't give fuck. Get out of the way, American. We're in drone strikes. But, dude, oh my God, dude, we could just spend we could spend a long time just getting into Hillary, dude. Oh my God. Like, if there's one thing that I, you know, for different reasons, obviously, if there's one thing that I can at least agree with conservatives on, is that Hillary is the most vilest fucking demon witch fucking creature that has ever existed on the face of this goddamn planet. Like, oh my God, ugh, what a fucking creature. I mean, they're like, we came, we saw, he died. Kamala or Hillary? Who's worse? Hillary. Kamala's just boring and off-putting and is just fucking stupid. Hillary is just a vile, sophisticated, sociopathic, like, legit, like, if evil was a thing, she would be it. She's like a fucking sophisticated, sociopathic, narcissistic form of evil that is just, like, incomprehensible. Kamala's just a fucking dumb corporate stuff suit idiot that doesn't know, you know, the right things to say when she's in public because she's too stupid. Like, she just says the most dumbest of fucking shit when she's out in public doing speeches, so they have to kind of fucking stuff her away and be like, okay, you're actually not really that good, go away. Alright, we're not gonna make you do a public speech anymore, you're actually kind of shitty. It's like, ugh. I mean, honestly, I don't know. Like, definitely Hillary. Every day she gets out of her coffin, she has to put a flesh skin suit over her body. Yep. I mean, honestly, like, dude, I guess in certain metrics, Kamala's worse, but when it comes to, like, quantifying that, like, dude, just Hillary. Just straight down. Like, there's definitely some things that, you know, are way worse about Kamala, like, you know, like, her being just, like, bland and just stupid and not, like, and just saying stupid shit. But she's not like Hillary, though, where, you know, Hillary might say some, not necessarily stupid shit, but she will say some shit. But it's very sophisticated and very coordinated. Like, she's, like, everything about her is very planned and acted and very branded, you know, for her, like, for her, you know, basically. Because she's just, everything's, like, she's literally, she's pretty much a sophist. She probably sees herself as like a god, or I guess in this case a goddess, and then probably thinks the little actual world revolves around her. Just like outright solipsism. I'm pretty sure that's what solipsism is about. It's where you basically believe the universe is built and evolved and made essentially just for you, and everything exists for you basically, and that type of shit, and you're the only thing that truly exists, or some shit like that. I think that's what it is, solipsism. If I'm wrong, I think it's something like that. Sounds like a mental disorder. Honestly, it does. It's not necessarily philosophy in my mind. I honestly do kind of see it the same way. I mean, I guess there is a philosophical idea to it, where it's like, I mean, I guess, you know, when it comes to a narcissist, I suppose, as a way to justify their narcissism. But, I mean, it doesn't necessarily make it really a good idea. I mean, it's because, like, I suppose I could, you know, like, I mean, I guess I could see it because, like, I mean, like, you know, like, how you perceive the world, like, I mean, getting philosophical if this is just a general idea. I mean, from everyone's perspective, they're the main character. But yeah, I mean, yeah, because what I'm saying is, like, you know, how you perceive the world is through your own, you know, psychological perspective. Because, you know, how you perceive the world is how your brain processes information from what your eyes and, you know, your ears and your senses make out. And from that, you know, you interpret that information and, you know, and then you kind of go based off of that. So I guess in a sense, I mean, you know, there is, like, you know, some legitimacy to it, but that doesn't necessarily mean, like, you know, I'm the only thing that exists. If anything, it's literally just, like, kind of the opposite. Like, it kind of proves that there's at least other things that do exist, because if not, then how's my, you know, what would my brain be processing? Is it just making it up? Which I guess could be the case, but if that's so, then where am I truly? So it kind of, you know, you're starting to kind of put yourself in a little bit of a rabbit hole, and then you start slowly devolving into probably some weird insanity. So it's just like, I mean, like, I can understand it, I guess, but I mean, it's just like you're starting to just basically ask more questions than answers. So Occam's razor is, you know, at least in my mind, is that, like, yeah, like, I perceive the world based on, like, my own psychology, based on what I see, and that's what the world is. And I just go based off of that information, essentially. So, I mean, it's not solipsism, that's just understanding that things exist outside of just me, I guess. So. I want to kind of keep playing this clip, or... Yeah, I kind of want to keep playing the clip. I kind of want to go back.
Threatening to resign. People who are trying to talk sense into Donald Trump. William Barr is saying the claims of fraud are bullshit. The fact that this voting machine...
God, man, leave it to people like Mike Pence and William Barr to actually be like the voice of reason in fucking Trump's administration. You know, I'm just kind of having to realize that a little bit. It's like, man... Like, there are weird-ass fucking conservative psycho people, pieces of shit. Like, there's, like, now, like, a fucking organization that's, like, basically dedicated to fucking ousting these people. Like, honestly. Like, they're going after Lone Boebert now after they got Cawthorn. And it's just, like... I mean, you know what? In a way, I'm not against it. But, I mean, I'm not really in favor of it because they're all Republicans doing it, and they all are trying to basically get the old guard back, and, you know, that I don't like. I do like that they're going after the fucking fascists and shit, so that's okay, but, I mean, they're basically they just basically want to put a blanket over it again. It's like, don't mind it, we're gonna put a blanket over it to make it look nice, okay? It doesn't exist, okay? We don't have that. Like, they just want to do that instead, so, you know, at the end of the day, really, fuck them, but not really, because at least, you know, in the short term, it's actually a good thing, but the long term, they just, you know, are just kind of prolonging the status quo, so, I mean, I guess depending on how it works out, it can be easier, you know, when it comes to, you know, dealing with elections, if you get, like, progressives who happen to be, at the same time, running, you know, against... potentially these MAGA freaks in these fascist types and shit, because if they have some doughboy empty stuffed suit Republican nobody that no one gives a fuck about versus someone that had the name recognition, it makes it a lot easier for a more progressive lefty type to potentially win that. So I mean, you know, it's I guess in a way, you know, it's there's some opportunity to it. I don't know if there's a leftist that could potentially run in where Lower Boebert is at right now. But if so, and they oust her, and there's some doughboy stuffed suit nobody running against, you know, progressive that might have at least some recognition a little bit, and getting some, at least definitely some probably local popularity. I don't know. Probably be more the benefit for us, and at least as leftists and progressives more so than those dipshits, so... I mean, they're not entirely bad. If anything, they're probably doing us some favors, you know, in the long run, too, just because it's making it easier to run against them.
Complete bullshit. And these are individuals who, in theory, should want to help Donald Trump because they want to stay in power too, obviously, but they lost the election. So everyone seems...
Well, I keep pausing it, but at least, you know, like, the reason why these people decided not to, you know, go along with it is because they're really fundamentally, they're all part of the old guard when it comes to the GOP. So they don't necessarily see the benefit of sticking around with something that's kind of an outlier more so than what's already in place. That's why they did that. Mike Pence was an old guard, you know, when Donald Trump picked him up, and he was going to be that way all the way through. Because he was. That's why he didn't, you know, follow through with his shit, in a way, thankfully, when it came to this whole January 6th shit. That's why they're all doing, that's why they did the whole, hey, my bullshit and all that fucking garbage. You know, like, not that I don't necessarily disagree, but for fundamentally different reasons in Minecraft, but, you know, it's just like, it's not for what they think. And honestly, I'm not going to be stupid enough to be an advocate for it outright like that either. Like, I mean, as long as he, you know, fucking hides away in his little fucking weird... What is it, Catholic or some shit? I don't even know what religion he is. He's one of those weird Christo-fascist organization religions. He's in one of those. As long as he just, like, slinkers off back in his weird little fucking Christo-fascist cave. Like, I give a fuck about him. Because he was literally a nobody fuckboy, you know, from Illinois and shit, you know, before this. And frankly, as far as I'm concerned, he's going to be a nobody afterwards. He's going to try, you know, in 2024 to maybe run for prez, but like that's going to work. Like, I don't even think even old guard Republicans like him that much. Like, you just want to make it like dead ass. So at this point, it's likely DeSantis, because he's appealing enough to the old guard Republicans because he's competent and not as much of a blatant asshole like Trump can be with the whole MAGA crowd and shit. And he also appeals to the fucking Christo-fascist and American nationalist MAGA crowd too. He appeals to both. He can play to both cards, and that's something that especially the old guard GOP definitely doesn't mind. It's like, because the old guard GOP kind of do the same thing. They do the same shit. Like, they, you know, because they know that whole Christo-fascist American nationalist MAGA element, you know, within their party and shit is a part of their base, and they have to still get their votes. So, you know, they're okay with at least tacitly, at least, you know, or at least at minimal, you know, doing some, you know, like bare bottom line, you know, appeasement to these type of people. That's why they have these old, like, trans bills, groomers, that's why they have all this shit, because it appeases them. I mean, that's why, you know, it's really why we see so much of this type of shit now. It's because, you know, it's a way to appease, you know, to a lot of these type of people and shit, and make sure that the, you know, Republican GOP, old guard included, stay in power. And even old guard types and ideologues that go in there and replace a lot of these more MAGA chuds, you know, get in place and, you know, get their favors too. It's because they appease to the same shit. Even though they're like doughboy do-nothings, they at least are quiet and can at least, you know, do it, you know, on the sidelines without making much noise. And that's what they want. They don't want to make too much noise, just enough. And there's already enough in their mind, so they don't need more. And Trump put way too much in their heads, so it's like, we need to tone it down just a little bit. But when it comes down to the base, they don't care if they're toning it down or exacerbating it at all. Like, you know, they know they'll vote for him either way. Because all it does is just enables them. Like, I mean, that's why, you know, really at the end of the day, it doesn't really fucking matter with the GOP and shit. They're all just like hyper-American nationalist GOP Christo-fascist types now at this rate. Like, I mean, they're not, you know, some, like, moderate conservative type of, like, thing anymore, like they were, like, the 80s or something. Not even 80s, like in the 70s and shit. Because 80s was Reagan, and he's kind of what codified, you know, the beginnings of a lot of this shit. And then Bush decided to kind of, you know, put that on overdrive. Yay. And then Trump exacerbated it further, and, well, yeah, here we are. Well, not just, you know, Republicans, but, you know, Democrats had their hands in this too, but at least when it comes to the Republican element of this type of shit, it kind of goes in that type of path. Like, started with, you know, kind of got codified with Reagan and shit, got it heavily exacerbated with the military-industrial complex of Bush and shit, and then when it came to the social culture element and shit, that got exacerbated with Trump. It was kind of like in three different, it really was, you know, thinking about it, I just kind of had a little epiphany right here. Like, Reagan codified the corporate economic element of it when it came to the establishment, at least especially with the GOP side. Bush codified a lot of the military-industrial complex, and fucking Trump codified a lot of the social culture element of it. Honestly, that's kind of honestly a good summary of all of them. I mean, all three, you know, played a part in, well, all three of those elements, but when it came to the ones that they had the major play in, I mean, I feel like there's a pretty decent little summary to them. Feel bad for the kids of right-wing parents. Hey, you want to go to church or go to protest an abortion clinic? Actually, I just want to go and play some video games. Too bad it's MAGA time. Oh, God. Man, there's, like, sometimes I'll see some kids and shit that, like, will be with their MAGA chud parents, and I'm just like, man, I feel bad for these kids. Because I could tell they're, like, because there's sometimes that I can see them where they're just starting to get into, like, their rebellious age and shit like that. And it's like, oh, man, you're gonna, like, get even more rebellious, I can already tell. I was actually at Sportsman's earlier today, and I saw that a little bit. Like, these, like, like these two, like there's obviously the very obvious like MAGA Karen mom, you know, like I just looking at her, you can already tell who she was. But she had like these two daughters, so I could immediately tell would probably like within like a year or two probably be like rebellious goth girls or some shit. Because they already had like the sweaters and like hoodies for it and shit like that. You know, like like they were dead ass like, you know, pretty much like, you know, fucking like some goth band or like, you know, like an Evanescence or a Nightwish album away from like, you know, starting to get into like, you know, symphonic metal, goth metal and shit, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, they were just like, you know, this close, you know, it's like I could already tell, and I'm like, ooh, man, these parents about to have a hard time with these kids. Especially around here. It's just like, man, luckily I never went on a full hardcore, like, you know, MAGA chud family, but definitely more of a Republican conservative bent. And yeah, especially when it comes to the whole rebellious nature, it gets heavily exacerbated when they realize it's a thing and try to crack down on it. It gets worse, so to speak, as it happens. So I just know by experience. I just sense it. You know, it's like the rebel dar, the rebellion radar just starts like I just kind of sense it in certain people. Kids have no idea what's going on. I just wanted to read when I was at church. Honestly, like, especially when I was growing up at, like, the little kids' church services, while my mom and, like, you know, all the, you know, family friends and all, you know, like, the adults went to the actual church services and shit, we all were just playing, like, video games, and then once the actual services started, like, honestly, half of us weren't even paying attention. I definitely wasn't. I mean, you know, like, most of us didn't give a fuck. We were just kind of all there to hang out because we kind of, like, made friends who were essentially outside of school, basically. Or at least, you know, at least for me, but for a lot of them, because we went to, most of my life, we went to this church that was out in Canby. And we don't live in Canby. Like, at least I don't. And I still don't. It's actually quite a drive away. You know, but for some reason, my mom went to this church up there. You know, and fucking... basically, honestly, it was not a bad church. It was actually a somewhat pretty, not like full-on progressive, but it was actually fairly, you know, progressive in a way. You know, because it wasn't like, at least from my remembrance, like, there was never anything about, like, you know, honestly, you know, like, the summary of what I could remember really was more about, like, you know, trying to, like, you know, help with your own identity, confidence, you know, anxiety, and addiction to things like porn and all this other shit. It was kind of more around that type of shit. At least not, you know, as a, you know, younger, but like, you know, for late middle school to high school onward with those type of services, it was kind of like shit like that. And about like, how do I, you know, have a good relationship, blah, blah, blah. You know, it was more shit like that, more so than like, you know, oh, you're gay, boo, you know, and shit like that. Like, if anything, it was like, well, you know, there are some stuff in the Bible that says sin, and some other things that say that, you know, you're still loved. So, you know, fundamentally, you know, it's like, I think, you know, it's like, we all think that, you know, and we believe that God, you know, loves you, and, you know, it really, you know, it's not fundamentally a sin, but it's just like, you know, it was like some shit like that, basically. It's like, weird, like, fucking the most fence rightiest shit that I can ever really think of, honestly. Like, it wasn't like, oh, it's like a sin, but, you know, it's not bad necessarily. It was just like, it was just like some weird shit like that. It's like, okay, so is it a sin? Is it bad? Is it good? Like, if anything, it kind of made, it still kind of, it gives you more questions than answers, really. But, honestly, despite that, though, I think, you know, a lot of people kind of interpret it as, like, hey, you know, love is love, it's okay, you know, it kind of like a more hippy-dippy Jesus form of it, I guess, which, you know, I guess is a good outcome either way. Because I remember, one summer church camp that I had, one year, I think I was in, like, 7th or 8th grade around this time. And one of our, like, cabin leaders at the time actually came out as bisexual, and everybody was actually very supportive about it. It's like, yeah, you know, God still loves you, and, you know, it's not fundamentally sin, stuff like that, you know, You just have to, just like, know that, God loves you and that, you can still love and that's fine, and blah, 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 blah. You just have to be responsible and good and, just, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's like they just kind of gave some weird, like, like centrist voodoo, blah, 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 blah bullshit like that. Like, basically. Where, you kind of, it's like, all right, yeah, it's okay. Type of shit where you kind of felt, like, kind of reassured. So, and especially with my own bisexuality, at the time, not really being open about it or realizing it myself necessarily, it kind of made me more open in my own mind, being like, oh, yeah, I kind of have these thoughts too a little bit, because that was kind of when I first started realizing, like, oh, well, am I, like, just straight? Like, I started, kind of thinking, that's kind of, at least I think, where I started having my own little thoughts about it, where I actually started realizing a little bit, but didn't really codify until around high school and shit. But I know it was only, a couple years prior until me realizing that type of shit. So I know it was a little bit of an arc with it. So I guess honestly, fortunately, I had like a better outcome when it came to like sexuality and shit like that, with my church experience and shit in comparison to like the majority, honestly, of a lot of LGBT people. But I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that, at least when it comes to family wise, it was the same. Like, that was different. Obviously, my mom, or at least what the adults were taught, was fucking some different shit. Or at least, what my mom's upbringing was definitely different shit. But she also grew up in Texas and went to Bible college in Dallas and shit like that. So yeah, she probably grew up, having some fundamentally different views about things. But for some reason, still loved the services that were taught, at this, I guess, at least somewhat progressive church. So, I mean, religion is so fucking weird but interesting, honestly. But that's why, at the end of the day, I still criticize it, and, even the more progressive churches, because amongst those progressive churches and shit, there's those far-right Christo-fasci types that will be a part of your services and will agree with you and shit like that. It's just that, it's just the fact that you happen to be a part of the same religion, the same type of elements and ideas. I mean, just because you happen to be a little bit more of a peaceful element and a little bit more of a progressive style church and shit, doesn't mean these type of people are among the flock. I guess if you're very adamantly vocal about being pro-LGBT and shit like that, they leave. But if you're more, like, centrist, down the line, hoity-toity, like, fence-righty about it, like, I remember my church growing up being like, then they're gonna be with you. They're gonna be among you. I mean, that's why, just honestly, especially when it comes to organized religion, I still criticize the fuck out of it, even if it happens to be better, than others in that way. I remember going to church in a deep country part of Georgia when my brother and I were visiting our uncle, and honestly, it was pushed on me more towards leaving religion because those people were fucking nuts. I can't even imagine, dude. Jesus. I mean, I've seen some pretty crazy sermons online and shit from, like, Pentecostals, Westboro Baptists, fucking a lot of these, crazy evangelicals, televangelists, prosperity gospel preachers and shit. Like, it's, just you fucking name it at this point. But, Jesus, like, at least from my own personal experience, the worst fucking crazy experience I've ever had was a Christmas Catholic sermon that I went to in Arizona. And that shit was outright a fucking disturbing experience like no other. Like, to this day, it fucking just, God. It fucking disturbs me. Like, I think I have trauma from that, dude. Like, I'm actually fucking like, I'm talking to speaking in tongues type of church. The one I went to was like that, because there was a few times I remember going to my, mom with the actual, like, adult, services, because there was a few times I was like, yeah, can I go to yours? Just for some reason, because for some reason I thought, why not? And yeah, there was straight up times where they would be doing that. So honestly, to me, that's that's just nothing to me, honestly. Especially what I've seen when it comes to a lot of fucking Christo fascists and shit. tongues ain't nothing. I legit thought one was having a seizure. Yeah, you see that. You see that shit. That sounds like some Pentecostal shit. Was it like a Pentecostal church? Because honestly, if there was like, you know, someone, like, I imagine there was like a lot of dancing, like a lot of, you know, people going like, oh, I'm feeling the load, you know, shit like that. Like, I'm imagining there's like, you know, some shit going on, like some music. Like, was there a lot of like music bopping and stuff? Protestant? Really? That makes sense, because the one I went to was Protestant. A more egalitarian, centrist-y element of Protestantism, but nonetheless. I think it was, Methodist, I believe. I know it's a part of a bigger church organization called Foursquare, and I don't know what specific faction of Protestantism they're on, but I know they're a more like at least centrist, liberal, progressive-y type of church, and I don't know which like factions of Protestant Christianity that falls under. I think it's like Methodist and a couple others. But I'm not a church freak, so I don't know this shit nor really give a fuck. It's all the same to me as far as I care. All churches look alike. They literally do. The only difference about them is really culture, honestly. Because based on the culture, the church design might look a little different, and how they do the services might look a little different, but really, yeah, besides that, they all look alike. Like, and honestly, there are so many fucking churches around here. A lot of, not all of them, but a decent amount of them tend to be historic too, funny enough. There's actually, I think, curiously enough, I think there's a Slovakian church that happens to be by the high school. Because I remember this big old sign that would be, like, right next to the high school of, like, this, like different Slovakian style fucking, like, little events and shit like that that would, like, always be up there and stuff, and it'll be at this church that was, like, is literally right around the corner. So I think it was, like, maybe, like, an Orthodox church, I think? But I've never, honestly, just because of, like, the different events that I've seen on there, which a lot of them will be like, yeah, we have, like, different food and different shit like this that you can check out, and blah, 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 and it's like, you know, honestly, kind of sounds a little dope. I don't know if they still do that shit, but if they do, I'll have to check it out, honestly. Actually, you know, kind of get a little insight about what it's about, and kind of the history of it a little bit. I mean, just because out of history's sake, you know, I'm kind of interested about these things. Because, like, I remember going to Iceland and checking out some of the churches there, but not going in all of them. Actually, the one I did go into was a whole Grimskirja in Reykjavik. And that one was actually, I honestly thought that was built in, like, the fucking, like, 1800s or some shit. But no, that fucking place was built in, like, fucking, was being constructed in, like, the 60s, or not the 60s, but, like, the 70s, and then was fully completed in, like, 86. And I was just like, what? This is actually more of a newer building? I was like, whoa, I thought this was, like, you know, some older architecture. But the organ that's inside of it is actually very old. I actually have a YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel. I have a YouTube video on my channel of me actually. Here, let me go find it. Here, I'll pull the screen down real quick just to kind of go zooming around and all this shit. Honestly, I'll check this Jan 6 shit later because obviously I'm gonna need, I'm gonna want to check out the full thing anyway. Yeah, let's see. You know, hold on, let me just put the... Just do that and then my name. Yeah. Ogrimskria, then just my name, and then my video should pop up, right? Yeah. I love that how the thumbnail's my fucking sister's husband. That's funny. And I guess the video starts with this. A person's booty. But that's the person playing on it. But actually, if you kind of look here, I know I skimmed to it. Here, it was kind of here. Hold on, I'll just play a little bit here. It's also a pretty massive ass building, though. It's actually pretty cool, though. Like, I mean, I do kind of appreciate some of the cool ass architecture about it. But way down there is the organ in there, and I think it's like almost like 1,800 different pieces on it and shit. But honestly, the music they were playing, now that I'm thinking about it, actually kind of sounds all gloomy as fuck, not even gonna lie. But the building itself is fucking like massive. Like, being in there was actually pretty cool. Like, there can be some cool experiences, but of course, because it was at least at that point, you know, just kind of open for tourists, you know. And they also have this elevator where you can go up to the very tippy top and get a really cool view of Reykjavik and a little bit of some of the countryside and shit like that from the top where the bell is, and that shit's really cool. God, I need to go back to this. It's been over how long now? Over 3 fucking years, man. I need to get back in that fucking country again. That place is fucking based. 4-day work weeks, fucking like 90% unionized workforce and shit. Base as fuck. Bars don't close until like goddamn 5 in the morning. Close for 2 hours, open up at like 8 or some shit. It's like, dude, Iceland is goddamn based. Like, I unironically would fucking live there if I had the fuck you money to just say, you know what, fuck it. Or if I just knew somebody over there. Like, I just do it. Because I know, like, if you are looking to marry somebody in Iceland and shit, they will actually grant you, like, citizenship, like, fucking that. Oh, my God, that was the worst. Like, can I snap? There we go. Like that. They'll be like, oh, you wish to diversify your genetic genes around here because we're too related. Yes, please, come over. It's just like, okay. It's not like I'm not, it's like, honestly, I'm not going to do that. But hey, yeah, make it easy. Because then I could fucking, you know, just find, you know, basic little, like, little labor trade I can get into over there and do this shit and just fucking vibe out in Reykjavik and just chill and party all fucking night. Oh my God. Man. It's either like Uruguay or Iceland. Those would be the, like one of the 2 countries I'd fucking live on. Because at least like Uruguay has legal weed. I mean, at least they got that. Iceland don't yet. But I know they have access to it because I have seen some shit where I know people have access to it. They don't necessarily have like dealers on the street, but I have, you know, seen, you know, like different little like, those little like weird barcode things that you can scan and shit like that, like those little square little scan code stuff. I literally seen like an here, let me see if I have a fucking picture. I know I still do somewhere. Oh, I know I do. I just have to fucking go to gallery really quick. Because this just proves that, like, you know, 1, no one gives a fuck if you smoke weed in Iceland, and 2, that it has to have some easy access if that's the case. Where the fuck is it? Here. It's like one of the first fucking thing I saw, I could have swore. Oh, here it is. Found ya. It was this shit. Cannabis Iceland is one of this little scans. So yeah, so I'm guarantee you just like I'm guarantee like if you know somebody that can like, hey, go on this website and scan this, and then like hooks you up to somebody and you get it set up, dude. And honestly, funny enough, where we were staying up was actually on the top floor on this little building here. We weren't even that far away from it. Oh, and I actually got into the Icelandic black metal band Althun by buying an album from this record store right here, Bad Taste Record Store. Dude, this place is fucking awesome. It's ran by this like little old dude. That's actually really fucking cool. Like, I mean, honestly, that's like a really dope little record store. Like, this fucking like town, like Reykjavik, honestly reminds me a lot of Portland, because Portland's got a lot of random quirky little record stores like this right over here and shit like that. And you could just find some different little stuff there. And I got 2 albums. I got a Ghost album, and then I got Althun's second album, which is pretty epic. And then it got like street art like this, which is just amazing. Like, I don't even know what's going on here, but it looks fucking epic, and I love it. I don't even know what's happening here, but like the eyes and shit, like I don't know what's going on. Like, honestly, I've never actually really understood the whole eyes thing there, but I love it. Got, like, someone wearing, like, a wolf fursuit thing, and a wolf that is also wearing a wolf fursuit head thing. And then you got a coyote that's got just, like, insane, like, super eyes. Pretty epic. But, hey, at least they also accommodate for English. Oh, can I try to... Oh, let me try. I'm drunk, but I don't give a fuck. Alright, I gotta at least look at this silently. Oh, okay, I'm gonna try. I think I did that right. Like, no, yeah, I think that's right. I don't know what that last part is, but I know the top is private parking. Icelandic is a little weird. I know it's Icelandic, and Faroese are like the closest to Old Norse still, so they still got like that Old Norse, like, you know, that crazy shit. But God, man, Iceland's so fucking cool. I gotta go back there so bad. I want to go there again. It's so awesome. I mean, seeing the fucking, like, Northern Lights, oh, I never seen them for the first time until I was out there, and, oh my God, oh, so awesome. I saw that shit, like, when it was all purple. It's like, they usually come in, like, green and, like, blues and stuff like that. And I heard really the only way you can kind of see it in like a more purple color is if it's like more directly above you. So I was just like, damn. There's some like Northern Lights directly above me, going all around and shit. It's like, oh my God. Man, like, I wonder what, like, you know, people back in the day and shit, you know, were, like, you know, like during like the Viking eras and stuff, like the people who first settled, you know, those places and, you know, were like way up in the north, you know, seeing that shit. I wonder what they thought about it. Seeing that type of shit. You should see Southern Lights. Oh, that's just pollution. Oh. Yeah, too bad the Southern Hemisphere doesn't really get that shit. Well, you know, do they? Do they? Like, hold on. Are there, like, you know, like the Southern equivalent of Northern Lights? Or is it just straight up the North that gets that? I'm actually want to look this up. Okay, hold on. I need to really fix this spelling errors. Are Northern Lights? Okay, well, there's South Pole that summarizes it, I guess. The North Pole Aurora is called the Aurora Borealis, and the Aurora at South Pole is called the Aurora Australis. Oh, so they do. They're just called a different thing. Aurora Australis. The answer is yes, though they're not referred to as northern lights. Auroras occur around both in North and South poles, but auroras that occur in the southern hemisphere don't get much attention for various reasons. So, well, okay, whatever. Well, hey, at least my question's been answered. They do. That's actually kind of cool. You know, honestly, I really did not know that. I just found out that the whole like Aurora Borealis also happens on South Pole. They're called Aurora Australis. I just found that out.
Yeah, there's just like the North Pole, the South Pole, Aurora Borealis, and the Aurora
Australis.
Australis. Obviously named after Australia.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. I just learned that. Honestly, I did not know that. Like, I kind of figured it would, but, you know, I just kind of, I was just like talking about because I was kind of reminiscing about Iceland here for a minute. And I was talking about Northern Lights. I'm like, you know what? Because someone's comments like, you should see the Southern Lights. That's just pollution. Oh. And I'm like, you know what? And it kind of made me think a little bit. I was like, you know what? Hold on. Are there Southern Lights?
I can't believe my daughter hasn't seen the Northern Lights before. And I'd seen them in Montana just like light up the sky.
Well, I mean, probably it could have just been light pollution. I mean, it could have been very...
No, it wasn't. It was the aurora. Obviously.
Okay, well, what I'm meaning, what I'm saying is the reason why they probably haven't is probably
green,
because...
red, even purple. It was incredible.
Well, yeah, they are.
A bunch of pictures of it. My dad threw the film away.
Why? He can be kind of a dick sometimes. What the fuck?
Just, it looked like a bunch of blurs to me. I'm just like, no!
Dude, yo!
Dad, come on! Give me a break!
Man, he really can be a dick sometimes, can he, man? What the fuck?
No, he wasn't being a dick. He was just...
Well, he just didn't... Oh, I guess in that circumstance, he didn't know. I mean, I guess that's an understandable...
He looked at the picture, it looked like a blur. So he threw them all away.
Oh, man, dude.
No.
Dude, if that shit was processed and he... Oh, man, dude, the processed film of that would have been so cool. Oh, because then imagine that digitalized and then we can make, like, fucking fat-ass frames in that shit. Dude, oh...
Yeah, it's...
Oh.
I never saw them, but if they came out, that would have been incredible pictures.
Oh, man.
The red, green.
Purples. Oh. I mean, I never seen them until I went to Iceland, and that shit was fucking like...
Purple in Montana, it looked like something out of Star Trek or something.
Like a fucking, like the Bajora fucking wormhole or some shit.
And there was a wormhole right above you. And you looked up and it was just like, ooh.
I mean, seeing how intense the Aurora Borealis was in, like, Iceland shit was definitely a fucking crazy experience. Because it kind of looked...
Oh, that's nothing.
I know it. Oh, whatever. Fuck off. But, like... I mean, honestly, because I imagine, like, it's like, it kind of looks like, hyperlanes or some shit. Like, you got your fucking, like, star vessel, and you get in that shit, and you, like, you just go for, like, some hyperlane shit.
It's the streaks of shit coming down.
Well, yeah.
Stardust or whatever.
I think it's like gamma radiation or something like that. Yeah, it's reacting to, I think it's gamma radiation reacting to the magnetic field or something like that. I know it has something to do with the...
like that, yeah.
It has to do with the magnetic field. I know that much.
Yeah, it goes around the magnetic field, and I guess in the winter it's focused on the North Pole.
Because the Earth's tilt.
In the summer, I guess it's focused on the North Pole.
Well, no.
In the winter, it's focused on the South Pole.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah.
Tilted slightly.
Well, also, I mean, it depends, I guess, because, like, yeah, no, you're right, yeah, because, like, I mean...
Yeah, the Earth's tilted as it goes around the sun, so...
I was just thinking because at nighttime you have obviously the highest chance of seeing that shit, and
you can't see them during the day.
Well, yeah.
Unless it's really good.
Well, yeah, and I know there has been times where there can be that type of cases. I think in Iceland there was like one instance where I saw it like during dusk where it was like, just before. I mean, sun was down like officially by that point, but it was still light out.
We went to Montana. I went out one night and had a smoke and just like, oh, there's a purple hole.
A purple hole
going every what direction?
I mean, they were like pretty hella purple in fucking Iceland. I remember, like, cause I remember at one time we were checking into that other hotel for mom and shit, where like I was looking up and I was seeing like some of that same purple shit. Not obviously as intense you're talking about, but kind of similar. I mean, because obviously in being in downtown Reykjavik, there's some light pollution, so it kind of suppressed some of it.
Generally,
but I still saw it, and I kind of could imagine.
Red, but they can be purple.
Yeah,
it's very rare.
Because that only happens if it's more directly above you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right up there.
Just because of how like you perceive it, and how it, there's some fucking physics and
if you see
visual
right
shit about it or whatever
purple.
the fuck. I don't know. I'm having another one.
And that's cool.
The fucking the universe is fucking whack. And also,
it
just
pissed me off when my dad threw away all that film. I'm just like, what'd you do with my pictures?
You know what's fucking crazy?
I threw those away. I'm just like, what do you mean? You just look like...
You could have probably...
Smudgy...
Did you try to find out where he threw him away at, so you could maybe try to...
He threw him away at his office, at the Remax office.
Oh!
And the trash was already taken away.
Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, that hurts. Oh, that's hurting me. That's hurting me. Oh, that hurts me. But you know what's even more fucking crazy is that, like, it just takes, like, some wacky-ass, like, fucking pulsar burst, from, like, some star or some shit to basically just, like, murk Earth.
Oh, yeah.
Just some crazy laser beam from the universe just like, yo, what's up? Boop. I think it has to be within, like, 1,000 light years.
Just like...
Gotta love the universe. Fucking wonderful, but also fucking psychopathically crazy at the same time.
Yeah, wonderful but deadly.
Oh, the universe, gotta love it.
Such a lovely place we live in.
Such a lovely place. Such a lovely place.
Oh, see, I don't want to go back inside, so you're not in the way. Oh, I'll bet you. Ow.
As soon as he wants to go back, he will probably be in the way.
I'm gonna get my cane.
Sweet little Baba. Just a sweet little Zugov. He's been kind of a dork, but later half of the day, he actually been a pretty good boy. Sweet thing. Here. I saw my friend was like sending some messages. Let's see what's up. My poor homeboy. Something about like a science fiction. Yeah, I got stuck with science fiction again. Damn, that sucks. Poor homeboy.
Yeah, see, now you're in the way. You're in the way.
Zukov, you're being goof. Why are you being a goofy baby? Come here, boy. Zukov, come here. Come here, bye-bye. Come here. Did I bring in his treats? No, I didn't. Shit. Boo, I did not bring in his treats. Boo! I forgot to bring treats in here. Come here, buddy. Come here. Bite. Come on. Come here, bro. Took off. Come here. No, you just lay down, you asshole. Would get the fuck over here? Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. You're a fucking degenerate piece of shit.
I'm there for a beer.
I mean, he evidently don't want to. Come here, you asshole. Would you get the fuck over here? Oh, you are a piece of shit.
Yes, it is. Good pups.
Oh, don't encourage him. Get over here. Get over here.
Actually, I want him to get out of the way.
Well, why do you think I'm trying to get him the fuck over here? Would you gotta encourage him to at least get the fuck out of the way? Get over here. You are a prick.
Get out of the way.
Get the fuck over here. Oh my god. Would you get over here? I'm about to like throw something at you.
Scoot your butt.
Get over. Would you get the fuck over here? Oh my god. Yeah. Would you? Thank you.
Yeah, you bonehead.
Jesus. No. Get back. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Go back over there.
Get back over here. Zukov. Come here.
I'm leaving.
Come here. Oh my god. You know, fuck you. Just fuck you then. You're an asshole. Just fuck you. I want to give you some loves and cuddles and scritches, but evidently not. Jackass. God. Piece of shit. You're a fucking prick, you know that? It's fuck you. Asshole. I want to give you loves, but you accept none of it. I have to, like, demand it. I have to, like, literally, like, force it out of you. Don't give me this fucking look. Don't give me this smug look you're giving me, Jesus Christ. Oh, man, you're an asshole. You know, it's like, I still love you, but you have to learn when to just, like, fucking listen every now and then. I don't. Oh, you're doing this little. You know, you're an. Fuck you then. He's doing this like. He was literally doing that to me. You know what? You're just. He's in his rebellious phase. That's just all. You're just in the phase of rebellion. That's it. You're just giving me this look that you just think you're all smug and all that, huh? You're just a prick. Sukov, you're a prick. Anyway, I think I'll get this one bowl smoked out. Call it good for the evening. Because if anything, honestly, I'm feeling like playing a video game. That's kind of like my vibe right now. Because honestly, I've been kind of on the Age of Empires 2 binge. Because that game is fucking amazing. Yeah, it's my childhood. Just through and through. And definitely want to keep playing on that binge. And I just got released to Salamander really bad. So, I figured I'd just get it all out in one swish. Anyway, I'll call it good for the rest of the evening. But of course, I'll be around for the next one. So, peace out.